I am so happy to be here today to welcome all of you listeners to the Reputation podcast. Get great reviews. We are generally talking about hospitality, but today we have a person who is not in the hospitality, but does have a passion for the hospitality industry. And I am so happy to introduce Charlotte Purvis. It's so nice to see you today.
Oh, thank you, Adele. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to speaking with you and your audience today.
I know also that you're an author. Can you tell us just a little bit about your book?
Absolutely. The breaking news is that we've just published the book, The Customer Communication Formula: How to Communicate with Your Customers and Boost Your Customer Service Brand. It's a two-in-one book, is what we like to say, Adele, because the first part of the book is for people who are providing that direct service to customers, and I call them customer service professionals. And the second part of the book is dedicated to their leaders, where we talk more at the strategic, visionary level for customer service. It's the result of over 20 years of work in customer service. And I must say, at the request of my awesome, awesome clients who say to me time and time again, before you move on to other things, please write a book. And so I'm honored to be able to share my book with the world.
Well, that's wonderful. You are really speaking my language because I I very often, when I am talking to hoteliers, they think that I might be interested in doing a training service program, which many companies exist for that. But I really want to coach the coach because it's really the leadership that sets the tone. And if I can just get the leadership on board, I know that they will be able to continue that continuous improvement training with the team. So tell me, the hospitality industry is in a really tough place. And we are hoping now with 2021 that we are entering into the beginning of a new chapter. We're still well in the depths of the crisis, but we're hoping that we can start planning for reinvigorating our businesses. And I know you'll agree that a great reputation and great customer service and great guest satisfaction scores are so important for that. So what do you recommend for hoteliers or other businesses on how they can help make their uh, guest or customer experience meet their brand promises?
Absolutely. Great place for us to start in this environment we're in now. For once in our lives, Adele, we can say that everyone is affected by this global crisis. What I like to say is that I've had other situations where maybe there was a tornado or flood in a certain part of the country, and then we really pay attention to that part of the country, but now it's everybody. So whereas I used to say, let's start with the customer. How are we treating the customer? Let's rethink our customer service. Guess what? Now I'm saying, let's start with our people, because they too are affected by everything
Oh,
that's
yes.
going on. Yes. So
Charlotte, I can tell you that a lot of hospitality people who were lucky enough to keep their jobs are actually experiencing more stress in a way, if that's possible, than the people who were furloughed or permanently let go. So we
absolutely.
need to help them feel
Let,
better.
yes, because ultimately we're doing that to make things better for the customers. But because of this crisis, I say, let's start with our people, our team members, and let's make sure that we're not only listening to them, but Adele, now I'm saying I am recommending for my clients, and they have definitely taken my recommendation, is that my major clients are all conducting empathy training for the leadership team.
Empathy is definitely the word of the day, isn't it? And it
Absolutely.
It's never too late to start talking about empathy. I
Absolutely.
definitely feel that I hope a revolution in empathy is coming to us.
Yes. And so I'm highly recommending an empathy program. And I enjoyed sharing this with one of my team of leaders recently. You'll enjoy this as well. I said, now just want to make sure that you know that when we're training on empathy, that we want to demonstrate empathy. I said, would that not be the irony to conduct a program on empathy, to have someone who's having a tough day, and for us to not show empathy toward that person? Would that not be ironic?
It would.
So it would be. So my recommendation is that we pay more attention to the team members, especially those on the front lines. Let's get them all buckled up so then they can be better prepared to address the needs of the customers. Now, that's probably been true all along, but I can tell you that right now, more than ever, as we just agreed, that's where, if I were starting someplace now with the client, that's where I'd start.
So, do you have two or three tips to share regarding how to make that happen?
Yes. So I can tell you, based on the success we've had with the programs I've conducted with my clients, is that we want to make sure that we don't make empathy additional pressure. So, for example, Adele, we have people who say, you know what, I'm just not big on the feelings, and empathy just doesn't really sit right with me. And I tell my clients, I said, well, the big breaking news that I have for you is that you're not required to feel it. Empathy in business, our focus is on the expression of empathy. And I tell them, because I can't really tell you how to feel. That is totally inappropriate for me to say, Adele, you must feel this way toward your team member. You must feel this way toward your customer. Who am I to tell you how to feel? What I can do, however, as your leader, is I can set expectations for how you express empathy toward the customer. Now, that's something that I can not only I can set expectations, but guess what? I can also measure that. We gave them specific empathy phrases to use, and we taught them examples of when those phrases were appropriate. So, guess what? Now, when we're doing our call calibrations, we can point to a specific example and say, that was in my word, you like this, I say empathy opportunity. It was an empathy opportunity. We missed it. So next time this happens, let's consider this phrase. So I'm really enjoying that. And I can tell you that the response from my clients has been overwhelming. The relief of knowing that you don't have to feel that, because you know what? That's really an unreasonable expectation, and that becomes additional pressure. So having specific phrases and specific expectations and following through by making sure you are now incorporating empathy in your call calibration sessions, big wins all the way around.
You know what? In the hospitality industry, though, I do hope that people uh, do try to hire people who are hardwired for people pleasing. You know, I always say if the prospective employee is not sparkling sunshine on me in the interview, that energy is going to pervade my beautiful garden of my culture in the hotel. And so I really always look for people who seem to want to please me, and then when I share, you know, it's really important for us that we make every guest feel so cared for and appreciated and respected. And if they light up at the thought of that, then I know that that person is probably going to be a good prospect. And it makes it a really much easier thing to coach the empathy out of someone who already desires to be that kind of a person.
Absolutely agree. I can't tell you how many um, new employee training programs I've conducted. And I've sat there and thought, wow, how did you even make it through the process? You're sitting here and you're in this training. You've been here for just a few weeks and you're already demonstrating that you don't want to be here. You're
Wow.
not interested in delighting the customer. How did you pass the interview process? So I've actually now started talking to my clients more about the selection and onboarding process. That's where we can do exactly what you mentioned, which is we can begin to set expectations even at that level, because some of those things, Adele, as you know, we can't train for them. And I'm with you on that. Absolutely.
But we can, as you said, we can coach them on
Yes.
how to show it and how to express it. And because sometimes you may become the general manager of a hotel, or you may buy a hotel that already has staff, and you may not want to change everybody right away, or ever, if you can work with them. And very often, if we're treating people with respect, if we're treating the staff as though they have something important to say to us, and that we care about how they feel, and what is it that you need to be successful at making the guests feel great about their stay here. When you treat them with that level of respect, or as one general manager said to me, when you treat them as an adult, they will behave as an adult. But I just say, if you treat them with respect, that the fact that they're treated with kindness and compassion and empathy every day, and that their opinions are important to you, then they will naturally pick up that vibe and start conveying that in their lives. And when they obviously have better feelings about their work environment, they're going to share that warmth, I believe, with the guests. Don't you
Agreed.
feel that way? Yeah.
Agreed. We're right there together on that. Yes.
So tell me, how about hospitality. I know you were talking to me that you were a great fan of the housekeeping team, as I am.
I am.
Actually, there's a very famous hotelier, Anthony Milcuri, who says housekeepers are the most important people in the hotel. And if you ask them what's going on in the hotel, they know. And that's true. I do believe that.
Absolutely. I am such a fan of hotel housekeepers that I mentioned in one of my chapters that I've been very blessed. I've had a lot of great experiences as a consultant, but one of my highest honors is when I receive a thank you note from a hotel housekeeper. And I actually collect them, I save them, and I include one of them in the book because, first of all, I grew up in an environment where we were told, and the expectation was clear, that you would have respect for all people, regardless of their standing in the world. And so having respect for people in the service industry came as a part of the package in the household I grew up in. And so I have really stepped it up with housekeepers. We're having conversations. I'm learning about them. I enjoy it when we speak different languages. And then I make every effort to understand what they're saying, and they make an effort to understand what I'm saying. And what I've learned through that is that the nonverbal communication really works. They get the message, even though we're speaking different languages in some instances. I feel very strongly that that is the heartbeat of your organization, those housekeepers. I mean, who has more inside information about guests, guest expectations, guest challenges? Who knows that better I can't think of anyone who would know that better, Adele, than
That's
those
true.
yeah, those hotel housekeepers. So let me tell you one of the things I learned is when I started speaking with them, I noticed right away this apprehension. What I learned from that is that they're used to people approaching them only when something is wrong. So it broke my heart. It's like, no, I mean, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much, but you could just tell the panic on their face when I would start speaking to them. So over the years I've learned how to better manage that. But some of my best conversations, especially as you can imagine when I am at home in my beloved Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I'm there for a class reunion. I'm in the hallway. I see a housekeeper. I stop to say hello. We chat about Tuscaloosa. I'm telling you, as I've mentioned, I've had some great experiences, but I must say, I am all for the hotel housekeepers. And you can pass that word along in your industry.
I
Please,
certainly will. I
please do.
certainly will.
Yes,
I definitely, I definitely feel that very often, as you mentioned, sometimes there can be a language barrier. And even though every hotel will say to their housekeepers probably that to say good morning and good evening and other kindnesses to guests. Sometimes they feel a little bit, shy of, of being approached like that. What if they ask me something? But really, in those simple phrases and in your eyes and in your facial expression and your body languages, you
yes,
can convey so much warmth and welcoming to the guest. And it just takes a number of warm little moments throughout the stay of the guest experience to give a very positive impression of the hotel, so that even if something does go wrong, it that the importance of that experience is diminished because it's showered on top of it is this wonderful sense that everybody here welcomed me and was happy to see me and appreciated that I stayed at that hotel. And it can save you from a negative review and get you a beautiful review, even despite things not being perfect. It's really the people that make a difference, don't you feel?
absolutely. And the people who touch the customer, who have that first line, front line introduction and interaction with the customer are those wonderful housekeepers. And I'm hoping that from our conversation today, you will, whenever you have the opportunity, you make sure that they know that they have a fan in Charlotte Purvis. I am a huge, huge fan. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, let me ask you, if anybody
Yes.
wants to reach out to you
Mhm.
or some training, how would they reach you?
Absolutely. So, my recommendation would be to go to the website, which is simply put my first and last name, charlottepurvis.com. And there you'll have an opportunity to submit a note to me. And it would really be great if they would, in the note, make sure that they know, let me know that how they found me through your wonderful podcast. I'm also on Twitter at Speaker C Purvis. I'd enjoy having people come there as well. Now that the book is being released, I'll post more on Twitter. I've actually been so busy with my clients and writing the book that I've not been on there much, but we definitely plan to be on Twitter more. And it would be great to hear from your audience and to learn how I might support them, but also them to let me know that they passed along my best wishes to their housekeepers as well.
Wonderful. Well, I will be posting this on LinkedIn and on YouTube, as well as having the podcast, of course, on Spotify and iTunes and everywhere you can get podcasts. So it's been a great joy to meet you, Charlotte. Let's stay in touch. And I thank you so much for sharing your customer experience excellence with us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, and all the best to you and your audience for a great 2021. Thank you, Adele.
Thank you. And good luck with your new book.
Thank you.